watching this episode together, I thought finally we got some universal justice, some comeuppance. We finally got to see Londo and the Centauri face consequences for their crimes. They've been doing all kind of shady stuff the whole series. Londo has been behind 2 galactic wars, technically 3, and yeah, they're paying for their crimes. Along with that, we are unfortunate to see that Jakar learns the power of forgiveness. That part made me so mad. And then Lennier says out loud something he should have just kept to himself. I really wish I could have just forgotten that whole storyline was going on, but J. Michael Straczynski was like, oh yeah, a near-death experience. Let's have the one character who is somewhat balanced experience. I don't know, is this Impulse?
Yeah. He's been holding back that this entire time. And it is a 90s trope. Well, maybe it might be a trope in other generations too. But the whole experience, I love you. You know, I just saw that on Star Trek Deep Space Nine too.
So here's the thing that bothers me about that. Lennier revealed to... Was it... No, not Delenn. It was to a male character. Was it Marcus or...
Probably Mark.
Was it Marcus or Garibaldi? Where he's like, I love her, but not like that. It's a different type of love. It might have been Marcus, because Marcus is very interested in watching other people experience romantic love. Marcus experienced compersion, and that's why they had to kill him off, because this is a loveless galaxy. This is a loveless universe.
Not compersion gets you killed.
Yeah. It gets you killed in that universe.
I need to stay far away, because I'd be dead 3 times over.
Well, every time Franklin found somebody to fall in love with, he ended up doing their autopsy.
Yeah.
Well,
So
even number one, did number one die?
Number 1? You mean Ivanova?
No. The girl from Mars. The Martian girl.
The one that was frozen?
No, the one that was mad at him for bringing Lita with her because she was a telepath.
Oh, right. Yeah. You know what? I have no idea. Number one probably is on Mars, like whipping people into shape. Okay, so not everybody. He hasn't watched all of his former flings die, but you know,
a lot. That's a lot.
The fact that it happened more than once is kind of weird, right? So we open up this show. Of course, there's like a brief little recap on everything that happened, because this is a 2-parter. This is the conclusion to the 2-parter that happened. The Interstellar Alliance are on their way to drop bombs all over Centauri Prime. Whole bunch of crazy stuff was going on, and this is just the culmination of this unknown faction trying to disrupt the Alliance. A lot has happened. Y'all just go ahead and listen to the last episode. Centauri Prime is under planetary bombardment, and this is that poetic justice, right? Because they did the same thing to Narn, and for no reason.
And likely to other planets that we just don't know about in the past.
Right.
And I'm sorry, but we don't know what the population of Centauri Prime thought, but listening to the different reactions of the Centauri, they kind of was in favor of like blasting the Narn, right? Because they had that 100 years antagonism, and they were like, "Yeah, we need to get them back."
Uh-huh.
So I'm sorry, y'all. It's hard for me to be like, "Oh no, the poor Centauri are victims."
The Centauri that the poor well, they have slaves. We could be sorry for them. They had no choice in any of this.
For the Centauri slaves.
We could feel bad for Centauri slaves. Maybe. Because remember the stripper that he fell in love with was a slave?
Yeah. She was a slave.
Buy her freedom.
Yeah. But
as a whole for their country, no.
Yeah. Right,
I mean,
right, right. Because I'm always kind of conflicted because remember Veer's girlfriend, his betrothed, and she was like really trying to set him up to murder a Narn. She was like, "Here, I got one for you. You can kill him."
oh
And
yeah,
she was turned on because she thought that he had killed the most Narns in history ever.
oh, because they,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I don't know. That's high society too. So, I'm kind of torn on that.
yeah.
Maybe what we'll do, we will separate what the elites do from what the general population do, and say the elites brought this on them, and there should be the comeuppance should rest on the elites, and the general population should learn from this lesson and do better.
Some people would say that the people who stand by and let it happen are just as guilty. Um, I talked to an author last weekend that said, was the weekend before last, that made that her whole theme of her books that she writes, that she thinks that the people who don't stop crime are just as guilty as the people who do. Not that they're being an accessory, but maybe they're even. She didn't go into detail. I just got to like chapter 2 of her book.
So Centauri Prime is under planetary bombardment, and this is by the Narn and the Drazi. I don't blame the Narn, the Drazi. I don't know why y'all there. Don't nobody like y'all. Go home.
Well, what I was going to say is that this is a prime reason why the violence just begets violence. And there is definitely no right answer, and it's not like a good thing that even though Centauri were likely most deserving of what happened to them in the eyes of people who believe in the eye for an eye and, you did it to me, so I should be able to do it to you. It just continues to perpetuate the same harm. It's not a resolution. When we have these different factions here on Earth, whether it's the patriarchy that we're trying to dissolve or racism or whatever, if we keep using the same tools that put us into the problematic position that we're in, we're just going to be experiencing the same problems. It's not fixing it. It's not healing anything or anybody or bringing us closer together into the peace that the alliance was trying to create.
Exactly.
I agree. And I think that is a really big point that is being made with this whole series. There are a lot of antagonisms due to misunderstandings, hatreds, um, racism, xenophobia, all of that stuff is happening. And when there is force being used through violence, war, etc., people only remember the war. They don't remember why people are doing it. They just remember like, oh, well, you hit me, so I gotta hit you back. It's not like, oh, maybe I should stop being an asshole. It's like, no, I gotta go get my squad now.
Mostly what
So
is missing is empathy for either side. Like we're trying to find an empathetic cause inside of Centauri, whether it be the slaves or the lower class, and not being able to even find empathy for the emperor and the upper class. And that they were born into this system and they were taught these things. They haven't been taught anything else. And so there is space to have empathy for them, that they are only doing what they ever have known. And for people like who is now the diplomat on Babylon 5 for the Centauri, Veer,
Veer,
he,
yeah,
I think he might have been born with like specific character traits that kind of lead him away from his people, but him being able to leave Centauri Prime and experience other alien cultures has allowed him to develop in a way where he's trying to do things differently, building the underground railroad and such. And
yeah,
sadly, like Lita, she had the empathy and was being exploited and was trying to do things in a humane way, but they just beat her down so much to now she's turning into the weapon that they created her to be in order to get what she wants. Something disgusting.
Yeah. And that points out, like, for the Centauri, their entire society is built around pushing down empathy and exploiting others. They hate and kill each other for positions of power. That sounds familiar, right?
Yeah.
And the same thing with the telepaths. They were used and exploited specifically to uphold the power of the ruling class. And when they're like, "Hey, can we be free?" and everybody's like, "No, not only can you not be free, but we either need to kill you, give you drugs, or make you work for us." So Londo, during the bombardment, he saves Jakar out of his cell. He's like, "Yo, you." He pulls him out of that, and he's like, "All right, you stay here. I'm gonna come back and get you." Sheridan, he's in his ship, and he is told about, like, the Centauri defense grid is inactive, and Delenn's White Star is missing, and he's frantic because he's trying to hurry up and get to the fleet to tell them to stop. Lennier and Delenn, they're on the damaged White Star. Remember, his leg is busted. Everything, like, life support is fading. They can't move. They can't do anything. And they're just floating out in hyperspace. An interesting note, because we get to see the Drakh pop up. An interesting note that I wrote down is the Drakh reminds me of maybe a twisted version of the Minbari. If you look at them, they have, they got the scaly skin, but they do have, like, head structures that could be considered head bones.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me think, if I did a head canon and kind of looked at it sideways, if they went ahead with that story that the Minbari were going to be the main villains of the story, or as originally planned, the Drakh could be like a twisted version of the Minbari. They could be Minbari, but, like, evolved by the shadows.
What's the name of the alien species that went along with the Narn and attacked Centauri?
The Drazi?
So the Drakh look like Drazi Minbari made a baby.
Maybe. And the idea that could, like, and this is all headcanon, y'all don't look too hard into this stuff. But if you go off of looks, the Drakh look like twisted Minbari that worked for the shadows. The Minbari did ally themselves with the Vorlons. And so that could have been like an internal conflict that could have happened or even been part of the Minbari Civil War. But, we never got to really see what that was all about. So, we can dream.
I just came up with the headcanon. What if they are? What if the shadows took them and made and altered them, like they altered other species to be telepaths?
Yeah, that would
kind of like
honestly, it makes way too much sense. And the fact that it's not commented on, I think I know why. Like, the fact that it's not commented on is kind of bothersome. But remember the first time we saw the Drakh, and I think it was at the end of season 3, at the beginning of season 4, they didn't look like that at all. They didn't even have mouths. They just had the weird giant head, some red eyes, and they were out of phase with regular reality. So I think whoever designed the aliens for season 5, they were like, why don't we just kind of rely on this design, take off those special effects, because that had to be something that took a lot of time. So just put some makeup on them and make them speak in whispers.
And use some of the prosthetics that we already have for some of the other aliens. Probably why they ended up
right.
But also like the what is it in Star Trek?
Keeper?
Vulcans and the Romulans look the same
yeah,
the whole time.
yes.
They didn't realize they were cousins.
Right. All right, so back on Centauri Prime, the Regent Verini, he explains that the alien invaders are the Drakh, and he's explaining this to Londo. They're the former servants of the shadows, and we get the flashback of Morden talking about how the shadows have allies, and this is where this flashback kind of ties in a couple of things. One, we learned that the shadows had allies, and two, it's the tactic that Londo used. Morden says, he talks about how their ships are impressive flying, but they're on the ground. and if anybody comes close to them, we'll get our alarms going. He's like, yeah. And Morden says to Londo, he's like, yeah, you're not gonna do something stupid like blow up the island. And Londo turns around and is like, yeah, about that. And he blows up the island. The picture of the island, it looks pretty big, like a continent almost. And so that had to be devastating.
Yeah.
We can circle back around to that in a minute because it's going to become relevant. But basically, the Drakh, they reveal that, yeah, we placed bombs all around Centauri Prime, and we'll detonate them. Nobody's going to notice a couple of extra craters, which means that their idea is if Londo doesn't go along with their plan, they're really ready to sacrifice his planet a little bit more than he's ready to sacrifice his planet. That's how they get his agreement or acquiescence. He's not even really, he's going along with it to save his people. And they're using his own tactic.